Hey guys, welcome back to Homeschooled Brain with Janiqua Kelly, also known as Mrs. Kelly. So for those of you who are new to this channel or just seeing this video, I am a disciple of Christ. I am a wife, a mother, and a teacher in that order. So today's video is simply going to be about, how to get started with homeschooling. I've gotten a lot of messages from people based on my last video on why I decided to homeschool my daughter as a New York City public school teacher. But with everything that's going on, I decided that I was going to homeschool my daughter, who is 4 years old and will be 5 years old, and she will be attending kindergarten. So the first thing that you need to know is, or need to decide and figure out is, what is it that kids are supposed to be learning at that specific age? Like, what should they know? What skills should they acquire or should have acquired by the end of that grade level? And so I'm just going to jump right into the video for those parents who feel like, I want to homeschool my child, but I have absolutely no idea where to start. So the first thing that you want to start with is you want to identify the skills that the student or your child is supposed to learn by that specific age. The second thing that you want to do is you want to find a curriculum. In my case, I am working towards creating a curriculum, but you do want to find a curriculum that meets the needs of your family and your child. So for me, for example, curriculum that I am creating is biblical based, and I do intend to, expose her to other literature and, informational texts and things of that nature. But I want to make sure that she has a strong and a firm foundation on the Word of God, and that whatever else, she's exposed to, she can pair that with what she knows to be true within the Word of God. And so that's kind of like where I'm coming from and how I'm planning out the curriculum for her, using these skills that she's supposed to learn. So that's what we're going to get into. So step one, skills. Step two, curriculum. Step three, start to actually plan out your lessons, thinking about what resources you're using. That's all in the curriculum, but then actually starting to plan out the lesson is the step three. So this is step one. What you are going to do is, for the 2020-2021 school year, public schools are using what is called next generation standards. And last year and for years prior, we have been using Common Core. The next generation standards are similar to the Common Core standards. It's just worded differently. But so what you will do is just go to Google and you'll just type in next generations learning standards, and it'll bring you here. You want to click on that. Then you're going to come to this website and you'll see right here it has the ELA learning standards, and it also has the math learning standards. You can go down and see whatever else they have, but right now, specifically for pre-K, kindergarten, these grade levels, you first grade, elementary school level, I just want to focus on right now English and math, reading, writing, math. That's what the main things that I'm focusing on within the curriculum for her. And then social studies and science, I'll pull bits and pieces of things and incorporate that, but I'm not necessarily looking at specific standards for that because this is the basics. So for ELA, you click on it, and then once you click on it, you'll come to this page right here, and you want to scroll down. You'll see pre-K to second grade next generation ELA standards at a glance. I don't want a glance. I want the actual, standards. I want everything laid out. So I'm going to click on the learning arts standards, and it's going to bring you to this extensive document that is 129 pages. But you know what? We don't have to focus on that because this is from grades pre-K to 12. So you're just going to focus on the grade level of your child. So if your child is in pre-K, you'll scroll down here and you can even see pre-kindergarten elementary school standards. But I like to just go through and just see what what's being said. So these are the anchor standards. So this is pretty much the standards that from pre-K to 12th grade, these are the core standards that students are working on. The rigor just changes as the grades go on. So the higher the level and grade, the more complex the standards become. But that's the anchor. Like, they're pretty much all the same. You're just building on it. Then they have here lifelong practices of readers and writers. So you can just look here. This is something that I would actually like probably print out and use that. Like if I was to have, like, let's say my own classroom or whatever, that's what I would do. So here we go, pre-K and kindergarten. For the sake of this video, I am going to focus on kindergarten because that is the grade that my daughter is going through. But if you want pre-K, here are the standards for pre-K. So I would recommend starting with the foundational skills, and then you'll want to move up to the reading. Okay, these are the skills that your child should know before they enter into kindergarten. So let's just keep scrolling down, and I'm just going to go to the kindergarten. And then once I reach kindergarten, it tells you, like, it has guidance and support. It tells you the range of student reading experiences for kindergarten. So here are the base standards. Here we have key ideas and details, craft and structure, integration of knowledge and ideas. And these are the standards listed out. So you have reading foundations, you have writing standards, you have speaking and listening standards, and then there is the language standards, and then it goes down to first grade. So now looking at this, it may seem like, something that's overwhelming, but I just think, like, as teachers, we eat these things up. Like, let's take this for instance. Let me go back to the top. Let's take this. Develop and answer questions about a text. So that is one skill. That is a skill that the student should have by the end of kindergarten. The student should be able to develop questions on their own about a specific text. The student should be able to answer questions about a specific text, and it lets you know whether or not they're comprehending what they're reading. And so once all of this is done, like I have all of this information here, what I do is I created a homeschool folder for my daughter, 2020, 2021. And here I have all of the standards. I have the reading standards, the writing standards, the foundational, the language, speaking and listening standards. And so once you click on it, it has all of the different standards listed out. And the thing about the standards is you have to be able to unpack the standard and understand what the standard is actually asking of you. So let's click on, let's see this one, the first three reading standards. So unpacking the standard, this is just something that I do. Unpacking the standard just to make sure that, we as the teachers, whoever is teaching the child, truly understand what the child needs to be doing. What does it sound like? What does it look like? Okay, so based on these three standards, I put them together in this one document because I would have 1,000,001 documents if I just separated all of the standards. There are a lot. So, develop and answer questions about a text. Retell stories or share key details from a text. Identify characters, setting, major events in a story, or pieces of information in a text. So now I'm identifying the verbs. What should students be able to do? They should be able to ask questions, answer questions, retell stories, share details, identify characters, settings, major events, information. Then what is the nouns? What should students know? First of all, they need to know what a character is. They need to know what a setting is. They need to know what events are, and they need to know what a story is. So these are some of the things that students should be able to know. And then I just list out the targets and I create I can statements. So the I can statements are so very important because it allows the student to take ownership of what they're learning. And it also becomes like your focus question. Okay, so I just turn the I can statements into focus questions. And then I go back and I think about what are something that the students need to know before they're able to do this. Like, what are some prior knowledge that they need to have and acquire before they're able to do that? And then I just pull some of the definition, the vocabulary words that students are going to need to know throughout this lesson or the teaching of this standard. And from there, which is pretty simple, that's unpacking the standard. And that's pretty much all you need to do. One of the other things that I did was I created a checklist. Just like with the I can statements, I just copy and paste those I can statements into a checklist so that each time that the child does that, I can check it off like the child is able to do that. And then also I have a kindergarten standards assessment tracker, and I'll give you a sneak peek into what that looks like. So Kinder Reading Standards Assessment Tracker. Let's go here. So this is something that I created so that I can be able to, just pretty much track whether or not she is, mastering the standards. So before I even teach, develop, and answer questions about a text, I want to give her a pre-assessment. Okay, she'll read a text, and whatever that pre-assessment will look like, there'll be a set of questions for her, and then maybe she will be asking questions. Like, I'm checking to see those things, and I will determine whether or not she has mastered this standard, is near mastery or below mastery. And again, she should be able to do this in both um, informational text and literature. And then there's a mid-assessment and then the end of unit assessment. So these are all of the different standards and the assessments. That's what I'm going to use. And that's all. That's pretty much it. I know it seems like a lot, but you definitely don't have to be as in what's the word I'm looking for? As detailed and precise as I kind of like created this whole folder, because I have other goals that I'm doing, but this is the basic. You want to make sure that you understand the skills that your child needs to know by that given grade level. And then you can find curriculums and resources or articles, whatever it is, stories, books, things like that, that actually will help you to teach these skills or to help the child practice these skills. So I really just hope that this was helpful. I hope that this kind of like took a weight off of some of your shoulders. It's really not that challenging. You guys can do this even if you don't break it down like how I broke it down. This at least gives you an idea of what students are supposed to know coming into kindergarten or whatever grade that they are in, whatever grade level. If they were in the second grade going into the third grade, you can still look at the standards and you can see, okay, this is what my child was supposed to learn in the second grade. Let me see how much of this he or she actually knows, and then I can, go from there. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far in the video, I really hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you guys have a blessed day. If you have any questions, please be sure to drop them down in the comments, and I will be more than happy to answer and continue to help out in any way that I can. Have a blessed, blessed, blessed day, everyone. Bye.